Welcome to my YouTube channel, The Hidden Treasure. I'm still Imwase David Lungu, the author of the book, The Hidden Treasure, a documentation on Zambian gemstones and the general Zambian gemstone industry. Today, I think last time we uploaded some songs that we normally do once in a while on our channel. But now this time, today I want to talk about petrified wood or fossils. This is a kind of wood that that petrifies and forms a stone. So this is an example of petrified wood. This is a stone that was formerly a tree, but according to regulations in our country, I cannot remove this stone from here because these are part of national heritage. You need to get instructions or authorization to move this kind of a stone. But then, just to show our viewers what petrified stone looks like from the source, this is how they come. Normally, you find them lined up in some kind of order, depending on how the tree fell, the time it was falling. So I just want to show my viewers an example of petrified wood. I mean, a stone that was once a tree. This is petrified wood in Zambia, in Chirundu. It's called also fossilized stone, a fossilized stone, meaning petrified stone. The journey for today is we're just going to look at the shoot of a tree and how it eventually becomes petrified. The reason is very simple. In my book, The Hidden Treasure, I've documented the use of petrified wood in the gemstone industry. Petrified wood, when it becomes a stone, it actually becomes a semi-precious gemstone. So because of that reason, I thought it's better we share the knowledge that I have on what petrified wood is with my viewers and how and where it's found in Zambia. So I would like you to subscribe, to like my page on Facebook, but then let us continue interacting on this page so that we share more on the industry, the gemstone industry in Zambia, the documentaries, jingles for radio and TV, and songs. So for today, we're basically talking about what petrified wood is in the Zambian gemstone industry. This is a Hidden Treasure channel. Subscribe and like my page. Thank you. Okay. This is a plant, and a tree by definition is a perennial plant that has roots, a stem, and branches. So the life of a tree begins from this, so that as it grows, it transforms into visible trunk and visible branches and visible leaves. So we'll try to look at a bigger plant. This is just to show where life of a tree comes from. Of course, we can't talk about the seed because this is already grown. So we are still on the same topic of petrified. So we want to start from where the tree is given birth to the point where it grows and transforms into what we call petrified wood. So what we are looking at is, this is a tree. It's called an umbrella tree. So we're just giving an example of how the definition of a tree fits what we are looking at now. These are branches. Then it has a stem down there. So, and these are leaves. So in order to call it a tree, it must actually fit those three definitions: the branches, the stem, which is the trunk of the tree, and the leaves. So we'll go to a bigger one. I think there's a bigger one here where you can actually see the difference. And this is what we are calling the trunk. So as the tree is growing, it will build up into something as actually bigger than this. Then as years goes by, I think the size increases and the branches also increase. Then it starts actually going down when it has seen better days. So we are going to look at the extent to which this tree can grow and then finally start dying. Sometimes it takes many years, but then these trees are known to exist for a long time. So this tree is actually almost drying up, and even if it has some like shoots, fresh shoots that are coming, but you can actually see that it has lived long enough. So most of the branches are actually drying up now. So our interest in gemology is what they become after they dry up. For some trees, they'll rot and will turn into manure. They'll actually be fused in the ecosystem of the environment. Some will turn into manure. Others will use certain trees to make wood, to make different types of products. So what we are going to look at now is how this tree can actually dry to an extent of losing even all the branches. So we'll show you another tree that has actually lost branches. This one at least has a bit of branches, fresh leaves on the tips of the branches. But then we're going to look at one that has actually lost everything, and it's actually going to degenerate into wood or anything that can be used by carpenters and any other person that wants to use like the remains of a dead tree. So when we are looking at this tree is literally dead. You find that most of the species that you can see are actually wearing out. They are rotting because the tree has lost its life. So the only thing that can happen with this tree is just to cut it down and use it for other purposes. Yes, there's this growth of this plant. This plant is called the money maker, but I think it's just surviving on maybe this soil that is on the tree and some other nutrients that are remaining in the tree. But then the tree is already dead. So now, what happens when a tree dies? Then we're going back to look at the petrification of trees and how a tree petrifies or changes form to become a petrified wood or a fossil. So I'm going to give an illustration. This is a normal dead tree, and you can see it was chopped around this area. They were using it like to just decorate the area and so on. So now I want to give an illustration of how this tree, after over maybe 1 million years, can transform into a stone. So this is just an example. I'm giving it as an example. You see, these originally used to be pockets where a lot of nutrients or plant elements, tree elements were passing. But now there are gaps because they've dried up, and what is remaining is just the wood. So now, let's imagine this piece of wood is buried over maybe 100 years, 200 years, 1 million years under the surface of the soil. So now what happens is, under the earth crust, there are streams. There are water bodies that can be noticed or identified in different parts of the land. So now let's assume this is underground, and then I'm going to open that tap just to show how the flow of water under the surface of the earth will be coming towards the tree. So when this water is flowing under the surface of the earth, it carries mineral elements. Most of the minerals will be carried with silicon dioxide. Silicon dioxide is actually like sand. It actually later on forms a kind of quartz. So when this water is coming down, it starts entering these spaces of the tree. So when it's entering the spaces of the tree, coupled with the mineral elements that it's carrying, these mineral elements will get stuck in the tree. They'll enter these spaces. I'm sure you can see the spaces here of this tree. So for many years, they'll be stuck inside this tree, and later on, this tree, the mineral elements the silicon dioxide, the water and the moisture content under the ground will actually transform this into a rock. So most of these solid wooden particles will actually change into rock because they will be fused with water, silicon dioxide and other minerals. There are a lot of minerals that you can actually you can find in the petrified wood. The most important thing to realize is it does not happen over 10 years, over 20 years. But according to scientists, it's known that petrification takes about 150 years. So, like the wood that we're showing you from Chirundu, where there are these fossils and petrified woods, those have actually been there for a long time for them to transform into a rock. It will actually be a solid rock that can be used for different purposes. So now, what is petrified wood used for? One may ask. There are people that will say it may be used for decorations, for whatever. But look, on a national level, petrified wood has actually allowed the government to form what we call a protected area. The government has most of these areas protected because these are like a heritage site. It's a place where generations and generations will grow up knowing that once upon a time in Chirundu, there used to be trees that transformed into stones, that transformed into fossils or hard rocks that can be used for different activities. Now, we are going to look at the uses. Let's start with how these things can be acquired. To start with, you cannot get any of these trees, any of these stones, without permission from the government or from government departments in our country. You can actually go and view them as many times as you want, but you are not allowed to pick not even one rock for sale or for keeping, unless you get express permission from a government department. Those are the ones that authorize a person to collect maybe a piece or part of what remained those many years ago, what we call petrified wood. So what we are literally saying is, as a hidden treasure, our interest in petrified wood or fossils is on how it's connected to the gem element of the raw material, because petrified wood is an organic material, and it's formed over time, over a long period of time for it to petrify. So the tree is buried under the earth crust through a process called the sedimentation. Sediment is where an organic or inorganic material is lowered to the surface of the earth through different earth movements that can be caused due to maybe erosion or movement of water. But then you find after many years, the trees that are buried under the surface of the soil undergo a process called fossilization or petrification. This is where water that carries mineral elements under the earth crust, as it runs over the tree that is actually buried under the surface, the minerals and the silicon dioxide, which is a slag under the earth surface, as it meets the dead tree, it enters the spaces where there was oxygen and air, and then fossilizes the tree so that it becomes solid as a rock. So the process of petrification is a long process, and my interest, like right now, is to relate it to the gemstone. So in gemstone, when it comes to gemstone, the gemstone industry, they use petrified wood for adorning and decoration and other activities. But then on the healing aspect, petrified wood is known to calm the mind. It's known to promote peace, a peaceful environment. So for a person that is irritable, normally they are encouraged to wear maybe a pendant bangles or earrings that are made out of petrified wood. That helps them to calm the nerves, to calm the environment, and to just to encourage an aura of peace around them. So petrified wood can be used on the spiritual side, on that note, biblical side or the theological side, as a stone that is identified with things that were made or that were built in a long time ago. The ancient remains of different biblical artifacts. Some of them have actually been formed through petrification. So as a hidden treasure, we would want people to know that the beginning of a tree is actually when it germinates. But then the end may either be, it can end as a waste, a product that can be used as manure, that can be used as plank, wood, or craft, or at the end of the day, it can also be petrified and be used as a gemstone. So petrified wood that you find in Chirundu is a fossil, and it is also a form of gemstone because it carries the element of the rare and precious stones that you can find under the surface of the earth. When you read The Hidden Treasure, you're going to find some of these examples in the book of how these woods are petrified and how the Zambian communities are using petrified wood to make artifacts out of them. So the biggest and the easiest industry that I think is common in our country, in Zambia, is the use of this type of wood to make artifacts, to make small animals, to make different, small products that they sell to tourists within and outside the country. That is the story about petrification, about fossils in Zambia, about petrified wood. I hope my listeners have gotten something. Subscribe to the Hidden Treasure channel. And I'm Stanley David Lungu, the author of the book The Hidden Treasure, that documents the various activities and the various products that you find in the gemstone industry in Zambia. So we are going to go to the next topic. I think we'll continue with the same, maybe petrification or petrified wood on the next video, but for now I think this is what we can share. So share my link and enjoy whatever uploads that we're going to be making in the next few weeks. We'll try to improve on the number of uploads so that our channel can become a little bit more active. There'll be other people that probably will come in to help us with the channel, to help it become a little bit more live. But at the end of the day, what we want is to share the knowledge on the Zambian gemstone industries. And like my subscribers already know, there are even other activities that we are sharing. For today, it's petrified wood. Thank you.